Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Trix, and in today's video I want to talk about why I deconstructed my faith a lot. And I have broken it into a few sections. We start with what I used to believe, why I deconstructed, what I believe now, and in the end of the video I will give some advice to other people in this space, in this season of life. And I want to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this for a while now, and I haven't gotten around to film, but now I will talk about it. So yeah, I deconstructed my faith a lot. Advice from a spiritual philosopher. That's me. Without further ado, let's roll the intro and yeah. So I grew up a Christian. My mom is Catholic. My dad is Protestant, I think it's called in English. Yes, Protestant. And so basically they're both Christians. And my sister is a non-believer. She's an atheist, I think. And they have been supportive of her. But I have always stayed in the faith until quite recently, when I'm not leaving spirituality altogether. I will go more into that in the later section about deconstruction. But I got involved in church at a young age. I was in the choir, and I was in like the musical theater that was in church, and I had a lot of activities going on in the church, and I liked it. I had friends there, and I don't see that as something bad that happened in my childhood. I have a lot of bad stuff going on in my childhood, but that wasn't one of those stuff. I liked being in church, and I liked being in Sunday school, and I liked my confirmation class when I started to grow up and take my faith seriously. I liked church a lot until I got more until I became different, until I noticed that the church doesn't accept everyone. That's when I started to dismiss the church and started to revalue my position and my faith. When I was 13 or 14 years old, I found a book at the library about witchcraft, and in a occult store in my town I found another book about Wicca, and I was torn between the different religions. I was torn between Wicca and Christianity. What was true? What was the right one for me? What did I believe? And for the first time I heard about another religion that I was kinda interested in, and I wanted to know more, and I wanted to see if Christianity maybe wasn't true. And I started to think that Wicca and paganism was more complete than Christianity. I started to think that maybe I believe in that instead, because those religions seemed more complete and more, if I can say that, it seemed less like there is less hatred in those religions, and they seem more complete than Christianity. And the fact that Wicca doesn't have an holy text or a holy book was something that I liked, actually, because it has structure, it has some things that is the foundations of the religion, but it doesn't have a holy text, and I was drawn to that, actually. And I'm still to this day embrace Wicca, even though I'm more of a pagan nowadays. But I will get into that in a second. So I was involved with church at a young age, and I liked it. I was baptized as a child, and I had my confirmation ceremony when I was 14 to be a member of the Church of Sweden. So what happened? Why did I deconstruct, and why now? I think I started to deconstruct already a while ago, because of the people of the church. When I realized that most Christians aren't very open-minded, and what caused me to start question was the intense hatred of the LGBTQ plus people. It was what started my curiosity if this was just BS, if the religion was just shit. To be frank with you, I mean, I have a lot of respect for progressive Christians, but I have very little respect for fundamentalists and evangelicals. I can't understand that. I can't. I just can't. But the hatred of the LGBTQ plus community was my initial reaction. That was my initial thought that this is not working for me. I can't defend this. I can't defend a God and a faith that hate on people for things they cannot do something about. I know some Christians say that people can change, or people choose to be gay or trans or whatever, but that's simply not true. You know that as well. That's not true. We can't choose our sexual orientation and our identity. That's simply not the case, because if we could choose that, nobody would choose to be gay. I wouldn't choose to be gay or bisexual. I'm not really I wouldn't choose to be queer if I could be straight and be left alone. So no, nobody would choose that. Maybe some would, but at the end of the day, we can't choose. So it's not even something we could discuss on that level either. After the next part, some people in the church is very cruel to disabled people. They can say mental illness is demons, and if we have disabilities, or like I'm autistic and I also have mental health problems, if we have that kind of stuff, we are not Christian enough. We shouldn't have those things if we was good enough Christians, and if we prayed in the correct way, or if we believed in the correct way, or if we was really Christians, we shouldn't have those problems. And as an autistic woman who got diagnosed as an adult, I will make a video about my autism journey in the future. I can say that autism isn't an illness, it's a how do I even pronounce this in English? It's hard to pronounce this in English, but a neurodevelopmental condition is what it is, and it has nothing to do with just what's up here. It's the whole body. It's more holistic than that, and it's the developmental stuff like speech and everything. I will go more into what autism really is, but to call that demons, really? I mean, that caused me to take a step back. Another thing that really caused me to question Christianity was that I was told to forgive my rapists by several Christian friends and in the church. I was told to forgive because if I'm not forgiving him, then I won't go to heaven. Then I won't be forgiven by God. And that really hurt me. That really hurt my soul, my heart, because it's because it's such an insensitive thing to say. The first thing that happened when I told about that I had been raped, this was 4 years ago now. Like I said in any of my previous videos, I got binge eating disorder after that, so I gained weight and stuff, and that was how I coped with the trauma. And when I got raped, I was much smaller and much more. When I got raped, I was much more in shape than I am now. I don't know why I'm saying that, but yeah. I think I'm saying this because people telling me, the first thing one of my friends, he's older but still, said, the first thing he said when I told about what happened was that I need to forgive to go into heaven. And that was when my faith really collapsed. And why I talk about the binge eating disorder and my gaining of weight is because I'm ashamed of how I look, and some people just say get over it, and it's not just to get over it. And that's also why I haven't been on camera lately on YouTube, because I hate how I look, and I hate that I have gained weight, and I hate that I get comments about it on YouTube. I don't know, that wasn't really something I planned on discussing in this video, so I think we just move on. Another thing that caused me to question the faith was the horrific passages in the Bible, of course. I have read the Bible, most of it, and it was honestly the biggest issue with the faith I had with Christianity. Women are raped and murdered, and the people who does that are still praised by God. Women are seen as property, and the people who own the women and the slaves are still seen as good people by God, are still praised by God. And I don't like how I feel like I'm reading a horror story when I read the Bible. I know that sounds offensive to other Christians, maybe, but I feel like I'm reading a horror story because it's so much hate in the Bible. It's so much darkness, and I don't want to. Well, I like darkness as well. I am a witch. I am drawn to the occult, so of course I like darkness, but I don't like evil. It's it's a line between darkness and evil, and I can enjoy some dark aspects of witchcraft, for example, and baneful magic and stuff, but I don't enjoy evil. And the Bible has some evil passages. I don't like that. It also have some great passages. I still embrace the New Testament a lot. I will go into that more later, but what I believe now later. But yeah, I also don't like how many Christians have a problem with feminism and with progressive Christianity, and they have a problem with abortion, even though nobody has the right to someone else's body, not even a fetus. That's my opinion. I don't think a fetus has the right to your body, just as a worm doesn't have the right to a body, or a virus doesn't have the right to your body. I mean, there are many bacteria who lives, and I mean, a fetus is not that sacred if it's not wanted, of course. I don't believe in forcing people to give birth. It's horrific. It's an horrific thought for me that are child-free by choice, and that's also something Christians have a problem with. That antichrist behavior of me, and it seems I have more problem with the people of the church than the faith itself, but I also have problem with the faith itself because I don't like the majority of the Bible. The passages are just cruel, and I feel bad when I'm reading the Bible. It feels like I'm reading something I shouldn't read. It feels like I'm reading something bad. I feel just low when I read the Bible. I don't feel good when I read the Bible. So why should I read it? So it's not just with people in Christianity, it's also the Bible itself I don't like. So I still have my Bibles to this day, and I will use them in Bible journaling and use them in the good things that are in there. But yeah. Another thing is that I felt uncomfortable with Christianity altogether because I don't believe in original sin, that we are born sinners. I don't believe that. I believe we are not responsible for our ancestors when it comes to the original sin. Of course, we are responsible for our ancestors if we are privileged. For example, if our ancestors owned slaves, for example, that's something we are responsible for. I believe in what it's called. I don't remember the term. You already know the term, I'm sure, but you know, white people have some responsibility for their heritage because many of white people ancestors were slave owners, and that's something we should take responsibility for, or they should. I'm to some degree should, because I'm half white, half Asian. Anyway, I don't talk about that. I think that we have some responsibility for our past and for our ancestors in that case. But I don't believe in original sin in the Bible. And some other fundamentals of Christianity, like the Old Testament, I simply don't agree with it anymore. And I will note here that I don't see myself as Wiccan either, but I embrace bits of the religion still. So, what do I believe now? I believe more in paganism and polytheism, and I embrace a more general spirituality than putting a label on it. I see myself as pagan, but I don't have a strict religious label. I mean, I see myself more as generally spiritual as a person. I'm not an atheist, I'm not an agnostic, or maybe I am a little bit agnostic, but I see myself as a spiritual person. I'm not an atheist because I believe in God or gods. Even I believe there can be many gods. So I have made a transition from believing in one God to many gods. So I'm not identified as agnostic or atheist because I believe there are gods and spirits and angels and ancestors that lives around us, and demons may exist as well, I don't know. But I'm still religious to some degree, but I don't have a label. I still think Jesus' teachings are good in the New Testament, and I still care about them deeply. I think Jesus has lived, and I believe he was a person in the Bible, but not necessarily the Son of God. And I believe he was an amazing spiritual leader. I believe he has lived, and I believe in many of his teachings. So I still care deeply about the New Testament, but I am not a follower of Christ any longer. I have made my spirituality my own. I have a set of beliefs that are a blend of different religions and such. And I'm fine with that. I don't think I need to do anything more or less than that. I think that's fine. And how I will go forward is I will read the Bible sometimes, take what resonates with me and leave the rest. It's after all an ancient text, and I think we should treat it as such. I will focus more on my spiritual self and not necessarily being religious. I will focus more on my witchcraft. I will focus more on my rituals, my reading my occult books, doing Bible journaling sometimes, more in the happier passages like the New Testament and the Psalms and stuff. Proverbs is actually a good book of the Bible, but yeah. I will still embrace these things, but I am no longer a Christian. Lastly, I have some advice for others who may be in this season of questioning or in deconstruction themselves. And the first thing I want to say is, do never feel obligated to believe something just because you were told so. follow your heart instead. Follow yourself and what feels like it's correct, rather than follow what others tell you, even if it is the Bible or the Quran or any other holy book. If something feels wrong, then it is probably wrong. I felt when I was a Christian that the passages about being gay felt wrong. So there probably is wrong. And the passages about women, that they are basically slaves, I felt that that was wrong, and it's because it is. And another thing is that just because you have a religion, it doesn't give you permission to engage with hate speech. Because yes, being against the LGBTQ plus community is hate speech. It is hate speech. So no, you don't have permission just because you believe something or because you have a certain religion. You don't have the permission to engage with hate speech. Another advice I would give is, don't ever believe that your religion is above human law, because it's not. Human laws are there for a reason, because all people cherry-pick the Bible. If we didn't, we would stone people to death in the streets. So no, your religion is not about the law. I have friends of all religion or lack of religion, and I believe in diversity even when it comes to spirituality. And I would encourage you to do the same. Be friends with anyone of any religion or lack of religion. I have atheist friends, I have Muslim friends, I have Christian friends, I have Catholic friends, I have Buddhist friends, I have Wiccan friends, I have agnostic friends. I have probably more than all these labels I have counted now, but yeah. You know what I'm getting at. I would encourage you to have diversity in your spirituality. It's just a good thing with diversity. And my last bit of advice is just that. Diversity is wisdom. I will say it again for the people in the back. Diversity is wisdom. Not only when it comes to religion and spirituality, also when it comes to culture, also when it comes to people with varied abilities, when it comes to people with different ethnicities, when it comes to sexual orientations, when it comes to everything. Diversity is wisdom. If we just have one set of things, this is how it should be, that's not wise. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is knowing that all people belong on this earth, and that all people belong in the afterlife, if there is an afterlife. Diversity is wisdom. Yeah, this was all I had to say for this video. I hope you find it interesting, and maybe I was a little bit rambly, but I hope you found it somewhat interesting, and I hope you leave a comment below. What are your thoughts about spirituality, religion? Do you have a religion? Are you religious? Do you have a spirituality? Are you a witch? And also visit my website. It's always linked in the description box below. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!